Welcome to Tabletops as Video Games, a series where I talk about what it would be like if some of my favorite board games and card games were turned into video games. And I don't just mean like video game adaptations of the board game or card game, like we got like all those versions of Monopoly and Uno. I mean like actually taking it from a turn-based tabletop game and turning it into a real-time video game. So this episode is on Betrayal at House on the Hill. And if you're unfamiliar with this game, it's a game for 3 to 6 players where the concept is a bunch of explorers enter a haunted house to try and figure out what's going on, and then the door locks behind them so they can't get out. And it's a tile placing game. You start at the main entrance, and each tile is one space, and you move around, and you explore the house, and you place tiles as you move around to discover the layout of the house. The game is played in 2 phases. There's the explore phase, which is the first half of the game. So basically what you're trying to do is go around the house and increase all your stats and find weapons and stuff, preparing for the second phase of the game. As you're exploring the house, rooms will have symbols on them that correspond to a specific card type. There are 3 decks: event, item, and omen. And whenever you flip an omen, it triggers a haunt roll. If a player rolls less than the number of omens that are out, where the maximum roll they can get is a 12. So the 13th omen will always trigger the second phase of the game, and obviously they did that on purpose. But when a player rolls less than the number of omens that are out, then we go to the second phase, which is the haunt phase, which is where the game gets its name, Betrayal at House on the Hill, because one player then is randomly chosen to be the traitor. And at that point, you'll pull out the traitor's tome, and there's a table on it, and you'll figure out what omen and what room triggered the haunt, and then that'll tell you what haunt you're going to play, and it'll tell you who the traitor will be. The traitor takes the traitor tome and goes into a different room and reads what their rules are. Everyone else stays and reads Secrets of Survival and gets their rules for the haunt. And then it becomes a PvP game where the remaining survivors are trying to stop the traitor from accomplishing whatever their new objective is. So basically, this would be a pretty cool video game where in real time you're playing with like 5 other people and you're exploring this house. It's a procedurally generated house, so you never know where the rooms are going to be. You're going around, you're triggering events, finding items, getting the omens, and then eventually you hit the haunt phase. There could be proximity chat, so when you're not near another player, you can't hear them. Or there could also have a walkie-talkie mode or something where you can hear players even if they're not in your vicinity. But with the proximity chat, it would be really interesting because there's a basement that you can't access from the main floor. The only way to get to the basement is to fall there by accident. And the only way to get out is through the basement stairs, which can only be found from the basement. You can't find the stairs to the basement from the first floor. So in the video game context, the basement could just be behind a door that's locked from the basement side, so no one can enter it. And if a player fell into the basement with proximity chat, no one else would know unless they saw it happen. But if no one was around, no one would know this player is now trapped in the basement trying to find the stairs to get out. And Yeah, basically just like the board game, you're going around trying to increase your stats, preparing for the haunt phase, which removing all of the die roll probability, streamlining for a real time video game, all these things would just be RNG on the game side. No one would actually see the rolls, all the probabilities being calculated. You just enter a room that has an omen, and the game would determine if the haunt phase would trigger or not. Yeah, so that's just a game that I think would be really cool as a video game.